Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1461 of our daily content grind. So this is what I've been excited to do for a while. It's the culmination of the Daniel Warren Johnson run on Transformers, issue 23 and 24 of Skybound's Transformers. So, as per usual with these reviews, we will be using as little internal art from these two books as possible. I will be using preview pages and covers just to have visual examples. Normally, I would pre-ramble a little bit more than this, but we need to get into these two books because, oh my god, do I have a lot of thoughts on how this ended. But just so we can recap where everything is right now, Optimus Prime is fatally wounded again, and Spike has tried to do the same thing that his dad did to try and reinvigorate the Matrix and give him a power boost so he can save the day again. Except he's gotten stuck. And now there's a conduit with Spike between Optimus and the Matrix, and they're all kind of comatose. Decepticons are mounting for a final assault on Chicago. Autobots are kind of bracing themselves for the impact. Now, before we get into this, one of the things I really liked in issue 23 is that a lot of the human survivors have actually gathered to pay their respects to Optimus. One thing that I really liked in the last set of issues was to show that there are humans who genuinely know that these are good guys, that the Autobots are the good guys, and they are not the ones responsible for all the destruction going on. They're the heroes. They saw them saving lives. They saw them trying to, minimize the damage. They saw them trying to evacuate people. All of this, we saw all of this going on, and I'm happy to see so many that know Optimus Prime is the hero. I've said it before. I hate stories where the heroes are treated like the bad guys because of things like we want to make like a prejudice allegory, or like demonstrate that it's a wrong thing to do. It's fine, but sometimes I don't want the heavy stuff in my giant robot, fixations. So it does get to me a lot. I like seeing the heroes treated as heroes, and this is what it's doing, and I like that. I love that part of the scene. So what's going on while all of this is happening is Optimus Prime is kind of stuck in what looks like the Hall of the Primes, but somewhere within the Matrix, and everything's kind of corrupted and wrapped up in like these purple like wisps of energy. Now, this is implied to be the control Megatron has, because he was fused to Megatron's arm for so long. We know Megatron has mental control over the ones that hold him in gun mode. This kind of goes further in that it weirdly corrupted Optimus and the Matrix into doing extremely cruel things. We have indication that maybe he was like that at one time, but this was something else. Point being, he's in the Matrix, and Sparky is there, and apparently still very much aware of himself, and kind of knowing a little bit of what's going on. He sees that the visions Optimus is having are merged with his own memories, hence why we have like shots of Spike as an infant crying, and then cut to a shot of Spike amidst all this jagged metal, and wires are coming out of him, and it's super creepy visuals. But that's kind of what's going on. Like, his memories are within the Matrix, and they're blending into Optimus Prime's, and they aren't sure why. And they don't really explain why yet. Suffice to say, it's Sparky inside the Matrix that helps bridge the connection to Spike and kind of lets the whole thing let go, so that Optimus can rejoin the final battle. Two things to note here. One, Wheeljack has built an ad hoc arm for him, so he kind of has full combat capability again. But the part I like, and you can see it in these frames, when Optimus Prime is within the Matrix, his eyes are yellow, just like the original toy, whereas in the real world, they are blue, like they are in the cartoon. Subtle detail, but I like it. So amidst all of this going on, Ultra Magnus does make a return. So he is over the PTSD. Short-lived, admittedly. But he kind of admits that he himself, like, he cowered it out because he didn't believe in himself, but he can believe in Prime. So that becomes the rallying point for the Autobots, is the idea that, okay, well, now we need to protect Optimus Prime. We need to come to his rescue the way he's always come to our rescue. So in defense of him, we are going to stand against the oncoming Decepticons. And yeah, Magnus actually finds his lug nuts finally. So he gears up. He is at the head of the Autobot attack, and the combat between Autobot and Decepticon goes on throughout both issues, and it's made to seem like a pretty titanic fight. Now, by the end of it, Magnus rejoining is not going to have too much of an impact because the Autobots are basically losing. Both sides are very much trashed. Even the Combiners are very hurt and very damaged. But there's more Decepticons functioning than there are Autobots. You know, the likes of Wheeljack, Trailbreaker are completely down and out. RC and Magnus barely have anything left in them. No sign of Superion. So yeah, it's a rough scene. Now, fortunately, this is where Optimus Prime makes his dramatic return. Now, because Spike didn't sacrifice his life for the Matrix, he has not regained full strength. He is still very badly damaged. He is still just kind of barely holding together. Fortunately, Megatron is still mostly damaged, so they're kind of on even footing here, though. Optimus is probably worse for wear, but it is a titanic fight between the two. Like, and they take it seriously, too. Like, the impacts look and feel brutal. There's shrapnel flying off of both of them. Not to Bay levels, but just, like, to show the impacts and so you can feel them, like how heavy the hits are. And it's really well done. It's really well drawn out. And they knew to take it a little bit more seriously because there's no wrestling moves in it. There's no wrestling moves in this fight scene. Maybe a big flying double axe handle, but that's about it. That's really about it. So as the fight goes on, Optimus has the advantage, but there's humans around. And something Megatron knows is that if there are weak lives around, he can take advantage of them to take advantage of Optimus Prime. Prime's hesitation when he notices that there are humans around in danger is what lets Megatron take control of the battle. And again, it's more of the public learning that Optimus and Megatron, Autobot and Decepticon, are different things, and that was good to see. I do like seeing that much of it. But that said, Megatron's winning now, and we have more Decepticons squashing humans, because that's just the running thing in the book. So now we're going to get messed up. Now things are going to get really messed up. So, Megatron doesn't just want to beat Optimus Prime. He basically wants to break his spirit. In book 23, he reprimands Starscream for just wanting just sheer violence for the sake of violence, when Megatron claims he has a much greater plan. That much greater plan is apparently to stab Optimus like a shish kebab onto a smokestack and force him to choose between an Autobot life and a human life. One is going to die. It is up to Optimus to decide who. I'm not sure what that's getting at. Like, is this really your big plan, Megatron? Like, Starscream literally could have just shot Optimus Prime the way he did Bumblebee, and this fight would be over. This fight would have been over. You would have been able to take over. Your conquest would have been complete. Whatever you want to say, it would have been done. But no, you have to send a message. You have to prove a point, right? All right, fine. The interesting thing through all of this is that he's in gun mode, and he's having our Starscream be the one to pull the trigger here. And this is where we get Deus Ex Machina 1. Because flying over the battle scene is Omega Supreme. Just like he did on Cybertron. There is no explanation for this. It wasn't a hallucination because Optimus saw it too. Just Omega Supreme randomly chose now to fly overhead and wave at Starscream. Just as he did before they ever left Cybertron, before Starscream ever was called Starscream. And it gives Starscream a huge moment of pause. Keep in mind, this is a reminder of the last moment he had when he was just an innocent scientist. In that moment, Starscream's eyes turn blue again. And once again, he calls himself Ulchtar, his original name. And that lasts about 3 seconds before Megatron blows his head off. So we have this really super random Deus Ex moment that I don't feel was earned, just to stall Starscream from executing, anybody, which is annoying. I'm not a fan of that. Like, there's no beacon in space to indicate, hey, this is happening. There is no, like, Optimus sent a signal, calling all Autobots or anything. There was no mention of, like, Omega Supreme's trajectory or anything like that. Like, it literally just, Omega Supreme just kind of flies overhead and then leaves. He didn't stay to join the fight and, like, turn the tide. No, he just flew away. That's something where I go, like, maybe this is something Void Rivals explained, but I hadn't heard of Omega Supreme showing up in Void Rivals. No. This is annoying. I don't like this call. Like I said, I don't feel like it was earned. I feel like it just randomly happens for the sake of giving Starscream this one weird random moment. Now, I will say, the way Starscream's injury, now the artist focuses on Starscream and showing the extent of his injury after the shot. And it's up to interpretation whether or not it was severe enough to genuinely kill Starscream or not. So it's leaving it kind of open-ended so that whoever takes over the book in issue 25 has the option of bringing in Starscream again. And I really wish they would, because Ulchtar, using his original name from, like, the original G1 character pitches, which is a fun reference. I love that. Exploring Starscream the way he was before the Decepticons, when he was a scientist on Cybertron, that has merit. Where IDW 1.0 had to do a lot to earn, like, any kind of redemption story for Megatron, even if it's a story about redemption can't be gained by someone this evil, but it doesn't mean he shouldn't try. Even beyond that, this is baked in. This is baked in since G1. This is baked in since, like, episode 6 or whatever episode Fire in the Sky was. This has been a long time, and I would love to see a book explore Scientist Starscream and Scientist Ulchtar, because that's actually a way I would believe that Starscream would become an Autobot through that plot point. And we blew his head off. So I'm begging whoever takes over the writing on this, please, for the love of God, actually use that. Don't let him die off. I am still unconvinced that even Bumblebee is permanently dead. Like, Transformers in this universe survive catastrophic levels of damage. And there's Matrix shenanigans going on. So for all I know, yeah, they can be brought back. And it seems like they were intentionally leaving it open-ended for the artist, or for the writer of the next book to say whether or not he's genuinely dead or not. We'll see. But I really hope it's not just a lingering plot point. Please don't let this be a lingering plot point. So then it's up to Megatron. Megatron is now going to pull the trigger himself. And it's going to be either Spike and Carly, or it's going to be Beachcomber. Now, Beachcomber has been kind of like the MVP here in the last 2 issues. The scene where Starscream tries to kill Optimus Prime when he's still laying on the slab and Spike is, connected to him. It was Beachcomber who stood in guard of the humans there, of Spike and Carly, and then took a huge blast to his midsection for thanks. So, yeah, it's not a great day for Beachcomber. And then he gets kidnapped, and he's the one that's being held hostage by Megatron, telling Optimus, decide who lives and dies. Optimus is still just skewered. He can't answer. He's looking up at the sky, no less. He can't even look down at what's happening. Oh, but don't worry. Just as Megatron decides to start pulling triggers, that's when Shredhead shows up. And now I take issue. So, we started issue 23 with Shredhead reaching Earth. And they immediately take off trying to look for Carly. There is no mention of any kind of tracking system. There is no mention of any kind of map. There is no mention of any kind of communication relays to find out that something's going on in Chicago. Nothing. I presume he shows up at the other end of the space bridge, which would have been like Decepticon base on Earth. But how close is that to Chicago? I don't get the time scale here. Obviously, these events don't have to be parallel. He could have been driving for days for all I know. But the point still stands. It does make it feel weird that he just randomly knew where to go to make the save. And then literally, he gets to cut through Megatron to save Carly. And yeah, Optimus gets it, and then he frees Optimus Prime. So he saves Spike, Carly, and Optimus Prime in this one moment. I'm saying he. I apologize. It's they, them. It's good. I'm still getting used to the concept behind Shredhead. So it's not enough that they do all of that, but they also one-shot Soundwave. And I know Soundwave's been battling for who knows how long, but still, it's a one-shot on Soundwave after they've already saved Optimus Prime and defeated Megatron. Yes, Optimus gets the last hit, but really, Megatron was defeated the second that sword went through him. He was literally begging Optimus Prime to stop. And basically begging Prime to stop just so they could throw in one more line from the 86 movie. Yes. It's frustrating. We'll get back to that. I'm going to end on that. But, just to wrap up, the Decepticons are forced to retreat. The Autobots aren't gathering yet, but humans are celebrating with Optimus. Beachcomber's alive. And we see that Optimus is cured of the corruption. The Matrix is just now starting to regain energy, which means they can heal everybody, repair everybody, help with, etc., etc. Get a good way of resetting the status quo a little bit. And that is where Daniel Warren Johnson's run ends on this book. And for 23 and a half issues, it felt like we were getting some of the best Transformers comic I'd ever read. I've been super excited for every issue that has come out in a way I haven't been since Lost Light. And to end it the way it ended, not only this Deus Ex Machina of Omega Supreme just randomly showing up to knock Starscream back into his own being, to remove the corruption that Megatron has been implanting in him for who knows how many years, but then another Deus Ex of the brand new character showing up to save the day, save Optimus, defeat Megatron, etc., etc. And jeez, Shredhead just So let's just run this down. Shredhead is named as such because Daniel Warren Johnson is a Shredhead. He is a metal enthusiast. He has his own band. So that's where the name Shredhead comes from. We see that even before they come online, they are talked up huge about how a new, fresh, powerful warrior is really going to help in this war. And then they are given a chance to show off on a few Decepticons on Cybertron. They are powerful. They are very powerful. They are immediately sent to Earth, where they magically know how to reach Carly and arrives just in time to save the hero of the franchise, to defeat Megatron, beat Soundwave, save the humans, and do all the super cool things. This went from a character with like a kind of a neat origin and a referential name to feeling very Gary Sue, very, very fast. This feels incredibly forced and completely unearned. Shredhead feels like I feel like this entire 12-issue run was designed to force Shredhead to be the coolest new Autobot ever, where he gets to do all these super cool things. He gets to save Optimus. He gets to beat Megatron. He gets to finish the fight that we built up for 24 issues. Oh, it's all him. It's all Shredhead. All them. Need to go for my water. Like, I'm getting so frustrated, my throat's drying out over it. I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter how good your media is, your shows, your games, your comic books. What matters is the finish. Because you could have the most amazing story, the most amazing performance, the best art, whatever. If you screw up that landing, if you screw up the ending, you're done. And it's just going to reflect badly on everything. And that's all people are going to talk about. Not how good the run was, but like how you screwed it up at the end. If you want examples, there is the Netflix Voltron series. Screwed it up at the end. Game of Thrones screwed it up at the end. Sopranos screwed it up at the end. For you gamers, Mass Effect. 3 of the best games with a horrible ending. One of the worst endings in video game history. And that's what I feel like I've just read. 23 and a half fantastic issues of stories, some of the best Transformers fiction we have had in a long time. The best depiction of Optimus Prime I have ever seen. He is like the most Optimus of Optimus. And the ending leaves me feeling like everything was set up just to put over Shredhead. And I have never seen a Gary Sue so forced since Night Scream. And it's so frustrating. I could be completely off base with this. I really could. But it feels so fanfic that I can't get over it. Like, it's like literally just like irritating me more than it should. So, like, I've already gone over my usual 20. I have to end it here. So, that is the conclusion of the first major story arc of the new Skybound Transformers run. From here on out, we have a new writing team, a new art team. The issue 25 preview is already out there, so you get to take a look at like how different the art style is. I still like the art style, but it's definitely not nearly as gritty as this. So we'll see how the new writing team does, if they pick up anything on Starscream, if they find some way of getting Bumblebee back in, if what's going to happen to Thundercracker and Skywarp and the Ark. There's still a lot of loose ends that a new writer is going to have to tie up and work with, hopefully. But yeah, those are the thoughts on issue 23 and 24. I hate to say it, I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. But again, maybe I'm off base. Let me know in the comments below. This might just be me. It really just might be me. So let me know. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.